in this video, we're going to take a look at how to trust yourself to date again following a divorce. So for many people, that feeling of failing and failure when you come out of a relationship that hasn't worked out is really a horrible jacket that we need to wear. For a lot of people, particularly the word divorce is very triggering, and that might be from a cultural or religious perspective, or perhaps you're one of the first people in your group or community that are getting divorced, or maybe you're just feeling a bit ostracized in that position. That's actually quite normal. But divorce is one of those shame-based identity crises that people experience, so they don't like wearing that jacket for very long. So from a dating perspective, some people race too quickly to lose that stigma of the label of being divorced. They don't like wearing the scarlet letter D, so they race back into the dating game to try and get coupled up as quickly as possible. But there's also another group of people that we work with that feel a lack of trust. It's almost like I made a really bad decision in my previous relationship that now led to divorce, and I don't know how to trust myself now that I'm actually dating. Again, a very, very normal position. A few tips that I would recommend. First things first, make sure that you have processed what has happened in your previous relationship or relationships. By understanding what happened, what your role was that you played in it working or not working, what are some of the learnings from that relationship, and what actually are some of the things that happened that you might have stepped over or missed as red flags or warning signs, is a really important part of getting to a place of empowerment and trust of yourself again. People that don't trust themselves following the breakdown of a relationship, oftentimes it's because they've missed something, or they skipped something, or they went too quickly into something, or they ignored some red flags and they just kept going. So by actually processing that and owning that, you get to a place of calm and peace again. You're like, okay, right, I can see where I messed up there. I can see that I stepped over some things, and next time I'm going to be more mindful of this behavior. I'm going to be more mindful of checking this or double checking that. The realization that I had a few years ago, because I've been working in divorce and trauma and the processing of relationship breakdowns for over a decade, one of the realizations I had is that we're all pretty dumb when we're dating. And I mean that with the greatest amount of respect, because, you know, we work with some of the most intelligent and brilliant people in the world, and we're all a little bit kind of like the lights are on, but there's no one home when we're dating. And what I mean by that is that studies show that people take more time to go through the due diligence of purchasing a company than they do in choosing their life partner or who they're going to spend the rest of their life with. Reason being is when we're too upset with the stigma of being single, or we don't like being single, we want to couple up, we'll extrapolate due diligence by seeing a few things that we like, and then we'll make an assumption or leap to a conclusion that we've seen enough and we actually continue in the relationship. Where most of us are too quick to get into a relationship and not fast enough in getting out when we start to spot the red flags. Other patterns that we see are people that shortcut the process, or they whitewash the process. They start to see red flags and they basically ignore them or step over them because they don't want to face the consequences of what those red flags might mean. So the process of smart dating, the process of actually being eyes wide open and really an active participant in the dating, you have to switch your mindset. The mindset cannot be, oh, I wonder if they like me. The mindset has to shift to, I wonder if they meet my criteria. And when I talk about criteria, I don't just mean, do you have the same religion or politics or cultural background, or does the person earn the right amount of money or have the right job? This is what we call superficial type criteria. Criteria that is actually more predictive of long-term relationship are criteria that involve character traits. Are you the same in agreeableness, on compassion, politeness? Do you share the same values in conscientiousness, industriousness, orderliness? Do you actually have the same position from an extroversion or introversion perspective? Do you have similar viewpoints on openness and intellect and creativity? And do you have both have anxiety, or do you both basically not have anxiety? And how do you handle anxiety if you have it? Do you withdraw or do you get volatile? These kind of traits are way more predictive. And what studies show is that when people measure similar on those kinds of character traits, it's predictive of a longer term relationship than people that do not. So smart dating is about conducting due diligence and keeping yourself slightly removed from the dating process, not giving your heart away so quickly until you've actually intelligently rationalized and gone through the process as to whether this person is the right person for you. It's also setting experiments and trying to work out if you can find out if the person presents in a particular way before life kind of takes you in a particular direction, or you've already fallen in love with the person. You're trying to see, do they meet my criteria? Instead of, oh, I've seen enough, they meet my criteria, and let's just jump into this relationship as soon as possible. What smart dating also does is it gives you the spaciousness to actually conduct proper due diligence. And the second marriage divorce rate, the third marriage divorce rate is really, really high. For example, in the United States, we're looking at anywhere between 65 and 73% on the second marriage divorce rate, meaning that we're not learning. We're basically not learning from our mistakes and failures in past relationships. We're just coupling up as soon as possible, imagining that the next person is going to remedy and we're going to find the love of our life the next time around. You don't know that. There are certain aspects that you can control, and by being smarter in the process and conducting a process-based analysis, you keep your heart slightly protected before you fall in love. You also are choosing partner on better criteria than just simply jumping into a relationship. So there's some thought for you. In our Naked.Recovery Smart Dating program, we cover these kinds of steps in looking at how to conduct proper due diligence. And we have a really high success rate with people that have completed our recovery programs, our divorce programs, in making sure that the next time around they really choose the right partner for them. And if you're in that position where you're not sure that you're in the right relationship, you're already noticing warning signs, you can come and do an analysis with us where we can test how strong your partnership really is. And are there things that you can do to save that partnership, or actually is it better to cut and run? Are the warning signs that you really need to pay attention to? And particularly if you're a people-pleasing kind of person, you'll want to see the best in people and you'll kind of want to whitewash certain aspects and not face the reality of them. But facing those realities sooner could prevent trauma down the line. So I hope that's helpful, and do get in touch with us if you want to do any of those assessments.